Oh God, this is a good one. Such a good line too. Wow. I think I just blanked that movie out of my brain. Am I gonna get any of these right? Because I have this whole window of time where I just cut everything. It's from Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, Peppa Pig. Oh, Peppa Pig. I guess I probably fit the, you know, the blurb of Faramir at the time, and then I got a call back to put myself on tape initially for Legolas, to catch like a sunset shot over the desert, just inspiring people around him as he was doing, and just specific physicality to the elves and to specifically to Legolas's movement. It was really important to me that I got that right. In the second movie, there's a sequence where I did as much of that stuff as I possibly could, actually. There were a few moments that were computer generated. Good effort, son. Here's a cunt in there, and it was a really cool experience, actually. I'm not really a video game kind of a guy, never really have been. That's old. People are gonna be like, wait, what? What about side by side with a friend?
What about side by side with a friend?
I've actually seen that line tattooed countless times on fans around the world and gone, wow. And in fact, I think I even signed something because I saw the tattoo and it was Legolas and Gimli. I just don't know which movie though. I think it's so any crew member can be challenged. At World's End? No. Dead Man's Chest. Okay, there you go. Well, again, another trilogy of movies shot not exactly in sequence or order, so forgive me.
So any crew member can be challenged?
By anyone. I mean, Pirates, that's that it was. You know, it's a funny thing to be a part of a couple of trilogies that have had such a huge impact on, you know, fans around the world. It's obviously a massive blessing. And it's also like overshadowed anything and everything else I've ever tried to do, which I'm also good with. At the same time, I'm like, you know, as I build out other characters for me to kind of, you know, my kids and my kids' kids, it feels like you're a part of. And I saw The Lord of the Rings Wild, about Oscar Wilde with Stephen Fry and Jude Law.
Looking for someone?
I was actually, literally, I think I was 16. I'd moved to London. I had an agent who had saw me on stage at a small theatre in North London called the Tricycle Theatre, had signed me. I think as a kid, I was never more present than I was when I was on stage. And I was also never more terrified than the moment just before I went on stage. I had terrible stage fright, which I think was the perfect combination of things or feelings to enable me to kind of hold on to and think about pushing through and growing through and evolving through whatever. I was single-minded about wanting to do that. I was always like, I'm doing this. So young, so full of the excitement, hopes and dreams of like what my life could be with zero idea of what was about to happen. It's quite wild, that.